Well, hi. Today is Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. Just caught an article on, actually it was on ketv.com, and it gave an update on what's happening across the river over in Omaha with the streetcar project. Somebody brought this up to me over the weekend and thought that with the election of John Ewing as mayor in Omaha, that killed the streetcar project. Nope. Still going on. And that is a lot of that could potentially make its way over into Council Bluffs. They're in the utility relocation phase right now. So it looks like areas in the old market are going to be closed for a while. They're expecting this phase of the project to last until 2027 and then the streetcar to be in service in Omaha by 2028. So, yeah, it was kind of a little bit of a misunderstanding, I think, by a few folks that thought that when John Ewing was elected mayor in Omaha, it was going to kill that streetcar project. Nope, it is still going on. And he just gave an update just recently on the progress of that. So we have a lot to get through here today. We want to thank Jessa Erickson from ThinkSpace IT. She is our guest today. And it's a conversation that I think needs to be had that we're going to talk with Jessa today about what to do with your computers, with your phones and things like that, just in case something happens to you. Because, the last thing that your family wants to do is try to figure out how to get into these things because all of your financials and everything else is tied up in your computer. So she gives some tips on what to do about that. She's also going to be giving a talk coming up this Sunday on that very topic. So again, Jessa Erickson with ThinkSpace IT, our guest today on Morning Coffee. Navigating the healthcare system, challenging, frustrating, time-consuming, can be for you and your family, and that's where My Nurse Healthcare in Council Bluffs steps in. Nurse advocates providing one-on-one guidance and support every step of the way. With a dedicated nurse by your side, you'll get the right care from the right provider at the right time. Visit mynursehealthcare.com. Let them take the stress out of healthcare. If you have a leak, a clogged drain, or planning a big remodel, Waldstein Plumbing in Council Bluffs has you covered. Fast, reliable service, expert craftsmanship, handling everything from small repairs to major installations. And if you think that the warm weather that we're going to have this week means winter's not coming, boy, you haven't been paying attention. We all know winter's coming. So that's why getting Air Serv Heating and Air Conditioning of Council Bluffs in to check out your furnace. This is the right time to do that. So go to airservcouncilbluffs.com or waldsteinplumbing.com, because when integrity matters, and when doesn't it, these are the guys that you want to get a hold of. Coming up very, very soon, Bryce Taylor is going to put me in an Iowa State jersey because Iowa State beat Iowa over the weekend in the annual Cyhawk game, and that was our bet. He's a big Iowa State fan. I'm a Hawkeye fan, and I am going to make him bring me one. Sorry, Bryce, you got to give me the shirt to wear. I don't own anything Iowa State here. But yeah, I'll wear it the next time we go out to do a restaurant highlight, one of those coming up very, very soon. I know that Bryce will be eager to see me wearing that Iowa State gear. Did you happen to see that interview that George Kittle did, tight end for the San Francisco 49ers, because, well, he plays with Brock Purdy, Iowa State quarterback. George Kittle was the University of Iowa tight end. And so George had to come out wearing an Iowa State helmet. He was making jokes about how tight it was. Go find that online. It's hilarious. But anyway, so yes, I'll be wearing the Iowa State shirt next time we do a restaurant highlight. Big thanks to Bryce Taylor with GLI Insurance Group, local and family-owned independent insurance group that's been helping people find the best possible plan for them for over a decade. Back with us again this morning, it is Jessa Erickson from ThinkSpace IT. Thank you so much, Jessa, for jumping on board. And always a great time when I get the chance to talk with you and talk with Jason. Jason's off. I don't know. Is he grabbing a hot dog or something? I don't know what he's doing. But it's just going to be you and I today.
He probably wishes.
And I was wanting to, something recently happened, and I thought you would be a great person that I could learn this information from, because it was a friend of mine who's had a parent pass away. And there was obviously a lot of financial things they needed to work on and all of this other stuff. And the computer was locked, the phone was locked, all of this different stuff was locked, and they couldn't find login information anywhere. And it got me to thinking, I wonder if there's some kind of safeguard that it can exist for just this type of situation.
Yeah. I don't know if there's really a set process that is widely known to everybody, but the main thing is to make sure that you have communication with your power of attorney, your family, whoever it is that you're putting that trust in to take care of you, whether you're sick, whether you're older, whatever the case may be. That you have well documented plans, list out your passwords, list out all that stuff. Because I have seen that too, and it is absolutely heartbreaking to have somebody call up and say, hey, and this is a true story. Somebody called me and said, hey, my dad died and we don't have access to anything and we cannot get into his computer. And, at a time when you're grieving beyond belief, that is the last thing that you need to worry about. So absolutely, there are tricks and tips. There's good processes. There's a lot of good information on how you can alleviate a worst case scenario in that particular case.
Well, we live in a digital age now. This is reality, and these are things that we have to think about, and we have to have plans in place. Once upon a time, it was, well, okay, I have a living will, and who's the executor, and that kind of thing, and that was the limit of it. And you made sure that your wishes were known. But there's so much is done online now. Our whole lives are out there. So we need to have something in place. So is it just as simple as making a list, or what would you recommend?
There are, and something I'm actually working on right now. I'm working on putting together a worksheet, not just for personal purposes, but for businesses as well. And not just for, like I'm selling my business, or we're doing mergers and acquisitions, or I'm retiring, or whatever the case may be, kind of a how to just make life easier when the time comes. Because even I myself, I'm not going to be here forever. And whether my kids get the business or whoever does, I want that handoff to be as simple as possible. So I'm working on a couple different worksheets, and it'll cover everything from passwords, transferring those, oh my gosh, everything. Making sure you have your files backed up, which good and well that's one of my hot button topics.
A little bit.
If you don't have your stuff backed up, come talk to me.
What's the process then, as far as, do you save all of that electronically? Is it saved off of a computer in someplace safe, or how would you recommend doing it?
See, it's tricky because if you're like me, you have umpteen dozen passwords. And I do use an online repository for my passwords. I'm slowly transitioning off of a file into a better solution. I know there are people who keep literally like a book of passwords, which please stop doing that.
I've seen it as a Rolodex. I've seen that. Yeah, sitting right next to their computer, a paper Rolodex that had all the passwords in it.
Yeah, don't do that, please. For many, many reasons. I know somebody that used to do that, and their book went missing. And this is also the same person that used to give me grief because I kept all my passwords in a file on my computer. You know what? When my computer went down, I still had access to all my passwords. So, not going to name names.
Okay.
But I haven't perfected a means for this, not even close. But I think it's going to take a combination of certain things in writing, whether you keep that in a safe deposit box, or if you have like a little lockbox or something at home where you can put, the first part of it, like, okay, if something happens, here's where you go first to get the rest of it. Because you're still going to want to do a kind of almost multi-factor authentication system because that's a lot of information that somebody could get their hands on. And it's, like everything else, it's kind of a scary proposition, but there's different ways, whether it's a combination of written, if somebody has access to your computer, shared files, that kind of thing. But regardless what you do, you've got to have that trust with that person.
Yeah,
That's going to be key.
well, and this is as we talked about. This is next generation stuff. This is things that we've created this world, so now we have to operate inside of it, and this is just one of those things that is important. I don't know about you, but it's a little pet peeve of mine if I've seen that somebody passed away, and then I start getting Facebook alerts that people are wishing them happy birthday, and I know they've been gone for 5 or 6 years, and so but it's just it's a side effect of
Yeah.
of a digital world, I guess.
Yeah. And it's tricky. I mean, what's the best way to handle that, especially with social media accounts like that? I know that there are a lot of people whose accounts have not been disabled after they've passed away.
Yeah,
And
many. Yeah,
while it's kind of cool to be able to continue to grieve and to get that closure, at the same time, it breaks my heart when I see those notifications like, hey, their birthday's coming up. Um, it's on a case by case basis. And, one person's right way of doing it is another person's faux pas.
yeah. A friend of mine that had passed away in a work accident a number of years ago. I never took his number out of my phone. It was still sitting in the address book, and you know how WhatsApp connects to your phone list. And suddenly, I had a contact there that was somebody completely different because their picture was attached to it. And okay, this is a different gender, different race, different, And I'm like,
Oh my
oh, I
goodness.
should probably go in and delete his contact information because they have repurposed the phone number, and I don't need to contact this person. So
Yeah, I still have my grandparents' birthdays in my calendar that
yeah.
I've just never taken out of there. And,
Oh, next month is
it's tough.
the 5 year anniversary of my dad being gone, and his number's still on my phone.
Yeah.
I'm not, and it will be. I'm not that one. I'm not getting rid of.
Yeah.
It's just there. But it, as we talk about though, that we're not. This is more of a security issue, and trying to make things easier for folks that are still here after you're gone.
Mhm.
So you're going to be actually talking about this coming up pretty soon, aren't you?
I am. And I tried to get Amber on the show, but she had something going on today. So I will represent on her behalf.
Okay.
Amelia Senior Living is having a lunch and learn on Sunday from 11 to 2 at their place over on Ferndale. And it is affectionately called Simplify Your Space, which is pretty accurate. It's a lot about downsizing and, preparing for that move to either, a smaller space or some sort of assisted living facility, nursing home, whatever. But she's bringing me in to talk about the technical aspects of it and making sure that all of your proverbial ducks are in a row and everything is all happy. And especially for those who do stay in their own space, utilities, making sure that that's all taken care of and whatnot when the time comes. So I'm excited. I get to go spend time with one of my besties and I get to talk about things and help people understand the importance of things that we don't think about all the time.
Well, we want to make sure that since, this is the date that this comes out versus when somebody sees it may be completely different. So what we are talking about, if I'm doing math correctly, this is September 14th,
Yes.
2025. I
gotta
believe
check.
that is correct. It's just going to be that Sunday.
Yes, it is.
And at Amelia Senior Living in Council Bluffs. So that is where your talk is going to happen. Is this all stuff rattling around in your brain, or are you preparing for this and making sure you have all your ducks in a row?
To be honest, this is stuff I think about on a mostly regular basis. just because this is the kind of stuff I deal with all the time, working with my customers, with friends, with whoever, because, random questions will come up. But I am officially getting stuff down on paper this time. So I'm hoping to at least have a rough draft of a workbook ready for Sunday so people can start organizing and start really thinking about things. And then obviously it'll be a living document that, we'll be able to update and redistribute as people need it and as things change.
This is just an example that as a business owner that always adapting and always meeting the needs that you see that are out there in the community. How's the world at ThinkSpace IT? What's is everything going well there? What's the latest?
Oh my gosh, we are so stinking busy, but that's a good thing.
Yeah.
We like staying busy. We've got we've got a project going on right now. Um, Kind of on the verge of wrapping it up. That will be exciting to see what the finished look is going to look like because we are working on the Lake and Child Development Center down in Malvern.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to see once everything is in, once they've got the landscaping done, and then once the kiddos finally get there and start utilizing the space, that'll be pretty fantastic. And then next month we start a pretty massive project down in Page County. So that will be very exciting.
That's what I also like about that is, I mean, you're located in extreme eastern Potawatomi County, so obviously your word about you is getting out. People know about you, and they know, okay, well, ThinkSpace IT, these are the folks that we need to call and get Jessa and Jason involved with this. So that's encouraging too, and it must be to you as well, knowing that hey, we're not just in a tight little radius around Walnut.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've always had kind of a 2 hour radius as in terms of where we would, you know, willingly go work on projects without it really any hesitation. If we're going to go further, it's going to be a special project or, we've got somebody else involved that we really want to help them out or whatever the case may be, just because the logistics of it. And, if it's too far away, then do we have to rent an apartment for somebody to stay rather than trying to drive there and back every day? But yeah, we've had a number of projects over the years, and we subcontract for a really great electrical company out of Red Oak. We love working with them. They're fantastic people. And I'm excited to see what the future holds because getting to do projects from the ground up is a whole lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap things up today, Jessa, I feel that I kind of owe it to you that as a Hawkeye fan, we came out of the Cy-Hawk game over the weekend, and Iowa State came away with the win yet again. You have a kicker that I believe has a bionic leg, and not just with strength, but also accuracy.
Uh-huh.
That young man is good. And that was the difference again this year, as just the same as it was last year, that kicking those long field goals. And it was an interesting game. This is kind of what we see out of Iowa State and Iowa every year, that it's got parts of very ugly, parts of brilliance, and just going at it. But the other thing I saw was, correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I didn't see everything. Was it tamer this year? Did it seem like it just wasn't as hostile? Or is that just my wishful thinking?
No, I knew it felt off because even I think I was talking with my mom or with somebody, and I said it wasn't quite the dogfight that it was last year. But of course, when you play at Kinnick, what do you expect? But of course, playing in Jack Trice is no picnic either. It's a tough venue. That's what I love about sports in Iowa. We're diehards. Half fans will travel.
Mm-hmm.
No, it did seem a little bit tame this year, and it wasn't hostile. It wasn't. I don't even know if I'd use the term rowdy.
No, I think the Iowa State crowd was loud and energetic. It was a great atmosphere, I thought, but I mean, in years past, we have seen
Mm-hmm.
nastiness
Oh yeah.
in this rivalry game, and it just maybe things happen in the background that I'm not aware of, but it just didn't seem to have that same level. I got a kick out of watching some of Dave Portnoy's videos of going around Ames and talking with people wearing Iowa State gear, and then right at the end before the game, he pulls it all off and he's wearing a Caitlin Clark jersey, so which was kind of
Hey,
funny.
but Iowa State fans can get behind Caitlin Clark as well, so it's all good.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, congratulations, Iowa State on the win. Enjoy it because 3 in a row just ain't happening. So
This time next year we'll talk again. But I am going to say, the big thing was Iowa State had not won at home since 2011,
right,
which happened to be the day that I got married.
really,
Yes. So, and believe it or not, I'm going to throw this out there real quick. We got married in Des Moines, and the hotel did not have the game on the TVs in the rooms.
what?
Yeah, I know. But they did bring in a couple of large TVs for the communal areas, and so I kept running out to the balcony to see what was going on with the game. And I happened to get out there at one point, and it was right at the end of the third overtime when Iowa State won.
Yeah, I
And
remember
I
that
gotta
game.
say,
Yeah, it was a
my
shootout.
maid of honor was not super happy because she's a Hawk fan. Sorry, honey. But I was absolutely thrilled that my boys got a win on my wedding day, so I will take it every time.
Did Jason come in as an Iowa State fan, or did you convert him?
I don't even think he's an Iowa State fan yet. I think he just kind of appeases me a little bit. This is the time of year where he becomes a widow because I've got football and basketball. So he
That's
becomes a
awesome.
sports widow.
Yeah, I was out at. I watched the game out at the Mile Away, and
Nice.
I'm friends with the folks that own that out there, and great family place. And Charles, one of the owners, he knew something was happening. He wasn't looking at the TV, and he just went, "Yay, team!" Because I was sitting next to a couple of Iowa State fans. I mean, we were sitting at the same table. So, yeah, it was. There's people cheering regardless of what happened,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was just kind of funny. So I said, "Way to go, football!"
It's an in-state rivalry, but you know what? Whenever an Iowa team is on the line, I still root for an Iowa team as long as they're not playing my boys.
No, and this year I think Iowa State's got a team. They have a team this year, and if they continue to improve, which it appears, I mean, I think Rocco Brecht is one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
Oh my
His
gosh,
his
he's
accuracy was,
phenomenal.
yeah, he was just dropping them into a bucket with those long passes, and even the ones that weren't caught were just right in the guy's hands.
Hmm.
So I expect to see them continue to pile up wins, and it would not surprise me at all. We got an extended playoff system this year, 16 teams, I think, going in. Wouldn't surprise me at all, not even the slightest,
Oh,
to see
that
Iowa
would be
State in that
amazing.
pool. So,
I mean, you saw the sheer number of fans who went to Ireland to watch them play against Kansas
oh
State.
yeah, that was an Iowa State home crowd over in Ireland.
Well, to be fair, there were a boatload of Kansas State fans too. I mean, just it was great to see such a massive turnout for the Big 12. It was fantastic. But yeah, if they go to the playoffs, you're going to see a sea of Cardinal and gold,
Mm-hmm.
and it will be amazing. But yeah, you can clearly tell that Rocco Becht has been studying Brock Purdy because there's a lot of
Oh yeah, yeah.
similarities
That.
between the two,
Mm-hmm.
and they are just so fun and so laser focused. And then you've got Kyle Conrarty's leg. He needs to insure his leg if he hasn't already. Oh, it's so much fun to watch, and they just look like they're having such a great time out there, which is even better.
Well, I will. That's it for me for singing and praises. Not
Thank
going to
you.
do it anymore. Good luck on Thursday when you see Travis, because you know that he's going to come in loaded for bear. So
Oh, I'll appease him. I'll bring in some Bush Light and cookie dough, and everything should be smoothed over
he'll
for
be
about
fine.
20 minutes or so.
Yeah, he'll be fine. All right, Jessa Erickson, ThinkSpace IT. Thanks for the great information.
Absolutely.
And we look forward to talking with you again. Recently, we had local author Carol Horner on the show, and the topic of that conversation was how to communicate in an election cycle, which we are in right now. You know, we've got a lot of local offices are going to be coming up for a vote. We're going to have the primaries in October and then the election in November. And we just tend to argue with each other. Well, Carol wrote a book called The Spiral of Accountability. And what this is a way for us to help break free from the fog that clouds decision making and relationships, breaking negative cycles, shifting your mindset, and building a culture of clarity and collaboration at work, at home, and in life. And this really ties into how to communicate politics. We've gotten to where we just think that we have to butt heads constantly, and we start calling people names and all of this. It needs to stop because it doesn't do anything. I've said for a long time that if you are calling someone names because they disagree with you politically, you're not changing anybody's mind. You're just getting like-minded people to pat you on the back, and that doesn't serve any purpose at all. So again, read the book, Spiral of Accountability. You can find it on her website, spiralofaccountability.com. It's also available on Amazon. Jessa Creative has made a change to my website. You can now see articles there, print-style articles on the website. There's a link there that says Les Hills Today. That's where you'll find them. Sue is just a genius with website design. Also, search engine optimization, content creation, and marketing, everything you need to take your company to the next level. If you would like to see what she can do for you, go to her website, justsuecreative.com. There you'll find a button that says free consultation. Click on that. Pick a time that you have free in your calendar that she has available. Next thing you know, you're having a meeting. And trust me, she's going to be able to help you move your business forward. JustSueCreative.com. Thank you again, Jessa Erickson from ThinkSpace IT, for joining us today on the show. We have a lot of great interviews still lined up this week, and looking forward to some more beautiful weather. It's going to get a little touch of summer, I think, before we get all the way to Friday. My name's Todd Studer. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.